welcome to the Witch's Cauldron. My name's Paula. Today's video is kind of well timed. We have something that is going to be occurring in the Western Hemisphere, the United States, called a black moon or a she moon, and it's going to be occurring on July 31st for us. For the Eastern Hemisphere, the black moon falls in late August. I believe it's August 30th. And what a black moon or a she moon is the second new moon that occurs in the same month. Another occurrence with that they use the term black moon for is a season that has 4 new moons, and it's the 3rd new moon in that season. Okay, so the next occurrence of that is May 22nd, 2020. Now they also use the term black moon for a month that does not have a full moon in it, and usually this is only February where this can occur. The next one of those is February of 2037. The last one that we had was February of 2018. And a month without a new moon, the next occurrence of that, it can only happen in February, and that is February of 2033. So those are the different terms for black moon or a she moon. In some traditions, the second new moon that occurs within the same month is called the she moon. Now, what's particularly interesting about the one that is going to be occurring on the 31st of July in the Western Hemisphere, or August 30th in the Eastern Hemisphere, the one that is occurring July 31st is also a supermoon. And you're probably thinking, okay, Paula, whoop-de-doo, what does that mean? This is a very particularly strong time, astrologically speaking. You've got to stop and think. We had an eclipse at the beginning of the month. We've been in Mercury retrograde. We just came out of Mercury retrograde. So we've been kind of wacky. The energy has been a little bit wacky. So having this black moon or the she moon can be an especially powerful time for magic. Okay, now a lot of Wiccans say that this is not a time for magic because it is dealing with your shadow side and darker subjects, tougher topics for you to kind of tackle. Okay, the correspondences for a black moon are fairly dark, and if you choose to, and you call it the she moon, it is a time of working with the Fae. Now you guys know that I typically do not work with the Fae other than, you know, elementals in coming to my circle. The only thing that I typically do is to put out offerings for the Fae to keep them happy. I will link a video on this channel on the Fae, and also I have a second channel, a paranormal channel, where I also discuss the Fae. On my paranormal channel, I discuss the Unseelie court, and on this channel, I discuss the Seelie court. So that's the darker side of the Fae, the Unseelie court, and the lighter side of the Fae, the Seelie court. Okay, and I will link them in the description box. So The names for a black moon are the black moon, a finder's moon, a secret moon, a spinner's moon, and also a sea moon, S-I-D-H-E, she moon. The deities that are affiliated with a black moon are Baba Yaga, the Banshee, Hecate, the Morgan, Pan, and then for those who choose to work in the darker side and black magic, Satan and the devil. Wiccans don't believe in Satan or the devil, so that's not in our vernacular, but other religions do. So nature spirits associated with a black moon are the jinn, dragons, werewolves, and vampires. The element is earth. The herbs are what witches and Wiccans term the baneful herbs, okay? In other words, you've got belladonna, you've got datura, you've got henbane, you've got nightshade, and you've got wolfsbane. These are all extremely toxic herbs. So if you have children or pets and you want to work with these herbs, you best be very, very careful in what you do with them, okay? The tree that is associated with it is coffee. Flowers are black irises and black roses. The scents is coffee. The stones are black stones, black jasper, jet, and obsidian. Okay, the colors are black, the darkest blue, and very, very dark purple. Animals are your nocturnal animals like bats and possum. Birds are crows, owls, and ravens. Now, the energy for magical workings during a black moon or the she moon are those that are dealing with negative things like banishing, binding, exorcism, hexing, various types of negative magics, revenge, and vengeance. It's also an extremely powerful time for what is called shadow work. And shadow work does not mean like black magic. Shadow work, and I also have a video on shadow magic on this channel. I will link it in the description box and probably throw it in a card. Nope, over here. And I will probably throw it in the cards. But shadow magic is very introspective. It's taking a very hard look at yourself, at things that you may have buried about you, things that you don't like, experiences that were very traumatic that you never fully resolved. Most of us have a habit of putting experiences that are unpleasant in a little box and throwing them up on the shelf and saying we're going to deal with it later, and then later doesn't come and that shelf collapses because of all the boxes that you have on it, and then you have, like, you know, a major meltdown. And you have what I call a crisis of your soul, because you have not been good to your soul by not dealing with these traumatic events. Okay, that's the black moon is also a wonderful time for shadow work. Now, what can be very beneficial, and you stop and think, right now we are in the zodiac sign of Leo. This is my sun sign. I am a Leo with a Scorpio rising and a Libra moon. So I'm just all kinds of screwed up. So I'm just an enigma wrapped in a riddle. And there are all kinds of things that have happened just in the last month or two. Like I said, the black super moon, new moon, brings the start of a new lunar cycle. And we've had a lot of really transformative astrological events happen. This new cycle is going to help us to settle into those wounds that I talked about, those traumas, to embrace transformation and change that the July eclipse may have triggered. This black moon has a lot of potential and new beginnings, and it's very transformative in nature. Okay, Mercury is preparing to come out of its retrograde. It's coming to an end, thank God. It is a time for us to really take time and look inside to see what is best for us. And we also need to be mindful that we need to be patient with ourselves. We have the power to take control, heal old wounds, and then to embrace those experiences that have shaped who you are. And my mother used to say, in everything there is a lesson and a blessing. This is the time for you to really take a look at those experiences and find the lesson you were meant to learn and the blessing that you were granted because of that experience. So there is a lesson and blessing in everything, and that is what this black moon can be all about. That's the type of shadow magic that you can do. It's also a time that if you are dealing with addiction of any kind, whether it's substance addiction, gambling, retail therapy addictions, sex addiction, anything like that, this is a time to do really powerful magic to deal with addictions that you have. Okay, this is a time for very deep, personal, and introspective looks. Okay, now, like I said, I am of the belief that black moons are the time for you to do some very, very powerful magic. If you are so inclined to hex people and do that kind of stuff, this is the time to do it. If you are trying to, say, exorcise negative entities or attachments from you or your home, this is the time to do it. This is a particularly effective time to do that. However, there are a lot of Wiccans who say that you should not do any kind of magical workings or ritual or anything like that on a black moon or a she moon. The black moon is also an omen of change. And it's going to be change that brings truth to the surface. Okay? And it may not be a particularly easy truth for you to hear. This is the time also when you may be forced to let go of things that don't serve you well and are like relationships. Like if you're just existing in a relationship but it doesn't really bring you the joy, this could be a particularly tough time for you, because it can be you know, that this new phase coming about can mean significant changes in how things leave you that do not serve you well and that do not serve your higher purpose. So keep that in mind. This can be a very, very difficult time for people. Remember to be kind to one another, because you're not always aware of everything that someone else is going through. Just be good to one another, is what I'm going to tell you. And more importantly, learn to be good to yourself, and to remember to look for that lesson and that blessing that comes along from every seeming traumatic experience or bad experience that you may have had or will experience in the future. Okay, with that, my friends, that's it for this edition of the Witch's Cauldron on the Black Moon of 2019. If you like, please subscribe before you leave, and be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. And I hope you will turn on post notifications when you subscribe, so that you are aware of whenever I post new content. So with that, my friends, as I always say,